he went online to address the people who, in his words, were under the impression that he was caught with cocaine. Let's pay attention.
Y'all know I come as I am, I mean, like, whatever, like, a nigga got going on, bro, I wear that. But, like, if that shit ain't me, homie, don't put that shit on me, homie, like, for real, don't convict me or some shit, that ain't me. Them people ain't cocaine on me, that's the only shit, when I'm flaming about that shit on me, because it's like, brother.
Because it take a certain kind of man that's okay with being called a junkie. There's a few things that coming from where we come from that no matter how much money you got, no matter how much status you got, how many people respect you, when they have certain things attached to your name, it just reeks of a certain stench. It carries a certain burden, certain categories that you may have been placed in, like it carries burden on you.
I know I tell the bitch. I done told y'all I fucked with them. I done told y'all I did meth before. Hold me like the fuck, bro. I ain't in this shit, bro. I ain't around no cocaine or fucking. And it's like, bitch, I'd have been in jail. I mean, like, fuck them, bro. And but then what else? So like, bitch, you got the police, like, you got the police hitting my people, like, man, look, it was only one officer going on that play. Like, none of that true.
In my opinion, the defense come out because you start to use things that's working in your favor. You damn near put those things in jeopardy just to try to make a point. Now, if it was that, I'd be locked up. But shit, let me go file a charge.
And that shit was that, homie. I don't think I'd be able to even be hollering at y'all right now, to even be speaking to y'all, homie.
Or let's just say I'm unsure and you're on probation and they even allege this and you say, man, if it were really like it, I'd be in jail. And I'm the prosecutor and say, well, it seems like it's not even registering to him that he just had an encounter that's unacceptable. But now what happens when I come back around and I did a song with the Tekashi guy? Good evening. Welcome to It's Up There podcast. Tonight we have a list of topics, but right now we turn our attention to the story of Bill Capri, also known as Kodak Black, a figure whose musician brilliance is often overshadowed by his recurring legal troubles. Our journey into the troubled narrative begins in 2019 when Kodak faced a severe legal setback with a 46-month sentence for weapons possession. A twist in this tale arrived with a presidential pardon in early 2021, offering a glimmer of hope for a new direction in his life. However, the hope was short-lived. Within months, in April 2021, Kodak Black found himself in the center of a shooting incident, making yet another chapter of legal scrutiny, though formal charges were not pursued. The following year, 2022, further added to his legal woes with drug-related arrests in February and a trespassing charge earlier in January, signaling a pattern of continuous brush-ins with the law. The most recent and significant development occurred in December of 2023. Kodak Black was arrested in South Florida for cocaine possession and evidence tampering on December the 7th. The incident escalated into a probation violation, cultivating him into federal custody on December the 17th. As we delve into Kodak Black's tumultuous journey tonight, we seek to understand the insight balance between artistic genius and personal tribulations, exploring how his continuous legal troubles have shaped his career and personal life, just as we dissect the complex layers of the history of law enforcement and rap. Talking about Kodak Black and just some of the things revolving around that door, right? Not only the prison system, but the addiction or lack thereof. For those of you unaware, Kodak Black's last few sightings have been under scrutiny by the public as they viewed him and saw him and says, yo, he looks like he's on something. In their opinion, they viewed him to be oftentimes incoherent. Those of us in the hood, we kind of looked at him and tried to give him a pass here and there saying, yo, his eyes white. I think a lot of people had their opinions or their positions on wanting that young brother to get some help if need be, get sought about if need be, or be in position where he's not risking everything he's worked for, seeing that he already has what some would consider the checker pass, right? And so he had a recent run-in with law enforcement that highlighted some of those concerns from some of those sightings and interviews that people were particular about. Shortly after the arrest of Kodak Black, he made a bond. The bond was kind of low. He went online to address the people who, in his words, were under the impression that he was caught with cocaine. Let's pay attention.
Y'all know I come as I am, like, whatever, like, a nigga got going on, bro, I wear that. But, like, if that shit ain't me, homie, don't put that shit on me, homie. Like, for real. Don't convict me or some shit that ain't me. When people ain't cocaine on me, that's the only shit when I'm flaming about that shit on me. Because it's like, bro, like, I think about my people, like the people who represent me, the people like who vouching for me, who face card, you know what I'm saying, tied to me, bro. Other than that, like, I'm a man, I mean, like, so it be like, I'm already be knowing, like, there's a season for everything. There's a season for, like, it be trust. There's a season for all the balling. There's a season, like, like the fuck shit or whatever the fuck, homie. I be at my best under pressure, iron, dirt, pain, homie. I look at that shit, like, even though that shit bullshit, I know that shit that's gonna make a nigga stronger, homie. That shit that's gonna make a nigga stronger, homie. For real. But I'm flaming, but I'm like, damn, that shit happened on my lady birthday too, bro. I ain't gonna lie, that shit. I know I tell the bitch. I done told y'all. I done told y'all I fucked with them. I done told y'all I did meth before. Me like the fuck, bro. I ain't in this shit, bro. I ain't around no cocaine or put. They say you can swallow cocaine, crazy. How the fuck? And these people got no body count, none of that shit, bro. 2023, fam. They say you need a wife. I got one. And my fiance having a baby boy in 2 months. I'm gonna be here, bro.
When I saw this particular part of the live, I said to myself, number one, the first thing I thought about was, oh shit, boy, they can't catch me with no motherfucking cocaine. Let's say if I do got cocaine on me, that's the first thing on my mind, because the average young dude gonna think like, man, this gonna make the internet. Them folks gonna say, damn, man, I knew he was on something. That nigga was lying. And not only them, the people that's riding for me, that's stepping up for me, like, what? Kodak on what? And they face cards is traditionally clean in the space. Is like, damn. And my next point that I was thinking about is, how does this play into Trump? Because I think they use Kodak and they say, see, this is the kind of flawed judgment that Trump has. I looked into the case. It was weapon possession. He would have probably been out of jail by now, 46 months. I mean, it sound bad. It ain't really that bad. But for Trump to have to use a pardon on it. But see, the thing about pardons, they always are under a certain level of scrutiny no matter what. But with him being reelected or trying to rerun for presidency, I wonder how they'll paint this scenario. You got to remember, they position him as, of course, a prominent artist, but a community leader that was accounted for in the decision-making process in regards to him being pardoned. And so when he straddles these lines right here, there's some serious people name that's on the line that, in my opinion, their reputation can start to take a hit, and it can start to be like, yo, these dudes got flawed judgment. And the reason my thinking takes me to the place where it's like, yo, man, damn, I can't let them catch me with no motherfucking cocaine or no ice or whatever. Not only for the probation aspect of things, because I was wondering about the bond. I'm like, ain't he on some kind of probation? Like, and he was online. Basically, we're going to look at it where he was talking about what it really was and what happened. Basically saying, yo, I was asleep out there. I was on codeine. You don't even need to be on live saying that. But that tells me I got to defend against that cocaine thing. I'm trying to defend against that. Because it take a certain kind of man that's okay with being called a junkie. There's a few things that coming from where we come from that no matter how much money you got, no matter how much status you got, how many people respect you, when they have certain things attached to your name, it just reeks of a certain stench. It carries a certain burden, certain categories that you may have been placed in, like it carries burden on you. And so in efforts to defend still that the police caught him with some cocaine, he came out and did this. Let's listen to a little more.
But like, I'm like, bitch, I'm trying to hit my quota too. Oh, fuck. That shit ain't. If that shit was that, homie, I don't think I'd be able to even be hollering at y'all right now. Even be speaking to y'all, homie. Even be on land right now. First off, a nigga that fucking died or some shit that or have been dead by now. And it's like, bitch, oh, I'd have been in jail. I mean, like, fuck them, bro. But then what else? So, like, bitch, you got the police, like, you got the police hitting my people, like, man, look, it was only one officer going on that play. Like, none of that true. None of that. Mm-hmm. Then it's like, bitch, ain't like bitch, I'm in front of my people house. It ain't like I'm in front of a stove or I'm at a street light or I'm at a, man, none of that shit. I mean, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? They got Dre pussy. I think I'm just getting up. And I don't even be in no rush to even be speaking or even like really even about defending myself. I just had to go in here because at the end of the day, homie, I got fans and shit. I got fans, motherfuckers who looking up to me, bro. That's that. Like, I'm street. I mean, I done live a good life. I done ball, all type of shit on my match on thing. It'd be unfair to like my family and to like my people, like even like my fans who vouching, who like, bitch, who and hell nah, brother, they ain't going out like that, homie. Catch me on some other shit. So I blink and make this shit worth it. That's what it is, you hear me? Like, convict me of what I'm on or what I'm doing. Don't persecute me on no shit like that. Saying like you trying to nail a nigga. I don't never even be wanting to be too clear anyway. I already know how to be like, turn my speaker to 100 motherfuckers or whatever. Man. I feel like 70 of them already. You already looking to try to find something. Just don't know what's going on. I just don't know what the fuck going on. If a nigga just sitting back ain't saying shit too, they be like, hold on now, what the fuck? Man, but I be on some shit like I be letting time do his shit and be knowing like, man, hell, fuck nah, that shit ain't that. At the end of that day, bitch, I'm knowing like we gonna get the last laugh. Ain't nothing funny about this shit though. We gonna get the last laugh. Y'all we got the last say. Y'all we got the last say, homie, he get all the glory. You know what I mean? Especially I say like, bitch, you got the police that go call my people. Like, bitch, officer. Like, instead of riding with they people, you know what I'm saying? They people, they like, man, hell nah, bro, this shit ain't that. Like, the fuck? My people walking out the house.
All right, so again, this is where you see in my opinion, the defense come out because you start to use things that's working in your favor. You damn near put those things in jeopardy just to try to make a point. Now, if it was that, I'd be locked up. What shit? Let me go file a charge. I done seen dudes do that to girls, right? When she was like, man, he be putting his hands on me like he really be doing that to me, man. Man, if it was like that, I'd be in jail. And she like, damn, I ain't never do that because I kind of loved you and we was kind of on a different level. Because now you say, oh, this is how we validate it in your mind? Because if I'm the prosecutor and I'm looking at that, and let's say I believe the officer. I just think that was a bad move. Let's just say I believe the officer. Or let's just say I'm unsure and you're on probation and they even allege this and you say, man, if it were really like it, I'd be in jail. And I'm the prosecutor and say, well, it seems like it's not even registering to him that he just had an encounter that's unacceptable. Whether that was cocaine or not, it's an unacceptable encounter seeing you have certain conditions that you have to qualify with just to be considered to be on some sort of probation. So when they gave him a bond down here where I'm at, you don't need, if you go in there on a probation, you got to get out immediately. But if you somebody with high priority face card, they going to put a hold on you. We need to see you before you get out of there. You need to go in front of a judge about your probation. We need to see if we want to put this in effect, what we want to do with it. Because if you pay attention to it, your lawyer and them, they kind of still got you on offense. But to make a point, I'm going to take my offense and make it my defense. Meaning I'm going to take what's working in my favor and put it in front of all the haters just to try to make a point to say, man, I'm out of jail. I ain't died. He ain't died. One police, they people calling. If they is calling, you got to be quiet. Let your people get all that on tape, get all that shit worked out. But he got to defend himself. Because one thing a nigga don't want come from where we come from is to be called a junkie. for people to say you have AIDS, or for say you deal with you mess with children, or certain kind of stigmas where we come from. It just bleed through that fame. It bleed through the money. It's also a situation where you will catch some of these guys with a lot of money, and when you let them know that they're a sucker, it'll hurt their feelings. Because they know in their heart you really a sucker. And so after this, he ended up in jail. They went ahead and picked him up. And this is what I'm saying. And so with them picking him up, my new thought goes to, because if I take Boosie at his word, he spoke to where BG had an encounter with Kodak behind bars that was unfavorable in BG's terms. And he kind of didn't care for Kodak based on how he was moving. And there's a feeling associated with how BG felt. And I think that some of the people on the compound may share that direction with their feelings. And so the last time he got out, he did an interview with DJ Academics, and he talked about kind of how the Bloods was holding him down or whatever the circumstances was. And then that song with Tekashi popped up. And so my thought process went down the road of, oh, the jail time may be different this time. It may be different. See, your classification is your classification. I really don't know if the feds still work like that, or if they work like that. I know your points is your points. And so you may end up on the same compound. You may end up in the same area that you just left from. And a lot of rap guys, I don't know if Kodak done this, but a lot of rap guys will get around real niggas and start promising shit. That's why I have to stay away from these guys, because that'll trick you. Almost like fake niggas don't know that lying to real niggas creates enemies when you ain't nobody asked you for no lies. And so sometimes these rap niggas will get around real niggas and start promising shit and saying shit. And yo, I'm going to do this for you. And bro, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to make sure that when I do da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and some of that shit don't never happen. So they'll promise you some things because they next to you. They locked up with you. They can use your influence in here. But when they get out of here, they'll forget about you. But now what happens when I come back around and I did a song with the Tekashi guy, which is not any of these guys' beef that's in the federal system, but I imagine that they take kind of some respect points off of that, right? I would think that some of those guys that's behind the walls, they may look at that a certain way, like, yo, man, we looked at you a certain way when you at first. Now we look like, I guess time will tell, and we'll see how we navigate this. Prayers to him, prayers to Kodak. I hope that if he is under some kind of pressure that causes him to indulge in things that's detrimental to his behavior and his ultimate goals, I hope that the universe grants us all direction away from the things that crashes our whip. Because sometimes, like, that's one of the things that really took me from the streets is, like, I really ain't like a lot of these guys that's been spoiled, that been on since they been young. That's why I'm glad I really didn't get this real paper till I was this age. Because when you get it when you young, you lack respect for it. Sometimes a lot of these dudes got on so early, they don't even know that there's a life where people are really struggling. That's working in warehouses and pushing gold carts and pushing tow trucks and hand carts and bagging groceries, or selling dope, selling ice, working for some nigga that gotta call Big Homie and laugh at his jokes when they ain't funny. He get to shoot at the little nigga girlfriend if he want to, because he basically feeding their household. That could have been some of them little niggas' life. They ain't had to navigate them levels. Some of them got rich so quick, they think like, yo, I can get out and get right back on. I can keep doing, man, this shit ain't about nothing. This shit really ain't about nothing. Man, they don't know good candles burn out. They don't know good swimmers drown. They don't know good shooters miss shots. It's like they don't know. They ain't never really had a chance to really fumble something and watch it leave and say, man, I can't get it. It's gone. Yo, that shit, that light, it won't. I used to like this motherfucker. It won't go. I hit a click, but it won't give me nothing no more. That same thing I've been counting on all that time. But they don't know that. It's like they don't understand that time is undefeated. And so they have little respect for position and where the blessings that have came along with their abilities. And so they sacrifice them. So they put him in jeopardy with the confidence. And a lot of them do got charisma. A lot of them do got that it factor. But you got to know the game can change. And so that thing that you good at now that's so profitable for you can mean nothing in 2 years. But again, prayers to Kodak. I think this time his jail stint will be different. I think his encounters with the people and the inmates will be slightly different as it pertains to the respect level, as it may be even pertains to the encounters. You know, I do know money and the willingness to really get down with these niggas go a long way. Like, if they really know you got that warrior spirit, like, yo, it's going to be, we going to tear this shit up. Every time y'all come this way with anything like that, we go platinum, and there's nowhere around it. That warrior spirit, another warrior will respect that because it's equal destruction. It's the same thing when all countries have a nuke. Nobody sets a nuke off because soon as you press yours, we press ours. We just in the whole world. And we all respect that. Yo, kid, better keep the hands off the noose, man. Because if they press theirs, they press theirs, it's just the world is over with. And so there's a mutual respect across the board that if we argue, if we fight, even if we bring the guns out, we keep our hands away from that red button. But that's why you see Putin playing with it. Man, I send a nuke. Man, I'm thinking about sending a nuke because he know that, boy, that's a panic word. That's destruction. And also we're seeing Crip Mac rearrested. They say he's facing up to 15 years for another gun. He locked himself in the room. He locked himself in a situation where he got to stay strapped. Even if the probation say I can't, because my life say I got to. The politics say I got to. These tattoos that I refuse to cover up say I got to. I don't think Crip Mac has the kind of mentality where he can navigate the streets, sneak through, and know how to move, right? I think he's just moving. And so I got to be prepared for something to jump out the bushes because I'm walking past the bushes. I don't know no other way. I ain't got, it's a certain skill set to tiptoe through the hood and not being scared, but just knowing how to move. Then when you operate with those kind of tattoos, you the face of your neighborhood. You probably one of the biggest faces as it pertains to online internet culture surrounding that gang banging lifestyle. You cross over to where the kids kind of mess with you, right? There's a very interesting dynamic with this individual. You replace the B's for the C's in your communication and your conversation. So this is a real effort as it pertains to gang banging. But what I think will happen, because I see him loving what he do, and I see him standing for the cripping. I see it. When he got DP, stood on all 10, whatever, I seen it. But my mindset told me, if he go do 15 years, he don't come out the same Crip Mac. Every time he came out, he spoke about basically just getting beat on. Fight after fight after fight after fight. And I know you get to a place where you don't necessarily have to do that, but I don't see Crip Mac being able to take the keys to the car. Like, it's almost like that's the position he gonna always be in as it pertains to that, where it's like foot soldier, like soldier, like, yo, I need the fade, bro. You got that on your head. That's my hood. I ain't taking it off because my hood ain't going, my hood know and so now I'm locked in this little room. Well, for my hood, I keep the tattoo. And for your hood, I got to fight you because I won't get rid of the tattoo for my hood. Because what do my hood think about me if I go get this shit took off of my face? Am I still Crip Mac with the tattoos took off? If I go get that shit took off my head, do he believe that he's still Crip Mac? I want him to know he's still Crip Mac. I don't know if he's still Crip Mac from 55th Street. I don't know how they get out in they politics, but you still a man. You still yourself. But all this for the hood. I remember one time telling my kids, I wonder, do other people think about that? Will his hood accept him? Would Crip Mac hood have accepted him if he took that off? I think in the midst of 15 years, he'll be able to find some other identification. Find another pathway. And so I thought to myself, like, if Crip Mac do 15 years in the feds, which is probably 80%. He won't do the whole 15, but he'll do a pretty big chunk of it. He'll be at a crossroads, like, because I'm sure in that time, I'm sure you don't talk like that. You don't really put the B's where the C's at. You know what I'm saying? Now, how much of your life have you been caught in this character? And it may be, some of it may be, I'm not saying that he's completely 100% acting, but I know when them cameras not on him, he's a different guy. And so the gang culture captured him. And so free Crip Mac, you know, out there on the West Coast, I think it's important to know what you up against. He clearly understood he was up against rival gang members, even though he had been a prominent face online, millions and millions of views. I think he was in a situation to just look at it like, yo, they gonna get me and they may get me. And I don't really know how to stay away from them because I'm from here and this is just how it works. 15 years, we'll see if he ends up having to do some time.